Sisters bonafide. Sisters bonafide. Sisters bonafide. I got my sister and me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Eb and I are here with another Let's Chat This episode. Eb kind of put me in a really bad situation recently where I've already been being unproductive. So, like, as if I needed her to go and recommend this show to me. But we wanted to have like a little girl chat about Housewives of Atlanta. Because there's some things going on in this show that got us to thinking. Now, Eb, you finished everything, right?
Yes. So I finished everything that's been streaming. I know that they have a new season out on cable, but since I ain't got cable, I can't watch it until they put it on Peacock. So everything that they have online, I've watched. But yeah, girl, I'm pretty much done with it. I'm up to speed.
All right. Well, you know, why I said you did me dirty was because, you know, like as if I need this show to take up any more of my unproductive time. But listen, so something interesting, like this thought that I had came up from this particular episode that I watched. Cherie is obviously, well, we know to everybody out there, Cherie, one of the Atlanta Housewives, has recently divorced.
Yes.
And so she's going back out and she's on like the dating scene now. So her friend, I think, had initially hooked her up on a blind date and everything like that. So they went on their second date in this episode. And where he invited her over and cooked dinner for her and everything like that. So I thought it was interesting because as a psychologist, I guess, you know, he does a lot of talking on relationships. And so he kind of told Sheree in this episode that, you know, he doesn't value money and he chooses love over money. So he told her to kind of like give a percentage, like, so out of 100, where does love, how important is love and how important is money to you? So initially when Sheree had told him that, she said 50-50, but she admitted later on, maybe, you know, 80-20 or 60-40, like, because he told her this. He said, so if you met the dude who worked at Payless, what would happen? And she basically said, well, like, how would I meet him? Because I'm sure. Like, dang. But I thought that was funny. That was funny. Yeah. You know, so while I'm kind of listening to this, and this seems to be a mutual consensus amongst the ladies, because when she had a conversation with Kim, which is another housewife, if you want to call it that, Kim kind of, the first thing Kim asked her was, does he have money? And Sheree was like, I think so. He's a doctor. I mean, I don't know if it's much, but he does. And like right away, Kim was like, no. And this seems to be kind of, with the exception of one or two of the ladies on the show, this kind of seems to be the consensus amongst what they look for in finding a significant other. But here's my thing, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to date somebody who doesn't have anything going for them. Right? And you don't have to date someone who's like flat broke and you over here providing and taking care of the expenses and you're providing for them. But I'm also sitting back like, okay, so all of these ladies have been married to or are married to wealthy men. Right. Even Sheree herself, just recently, she was divorced at that time recently from a wealthy man. So, but they're either divorced or none of their relationships are working out. So you feel where I'm going with this? It's kind of like, so at what point do you adjust your standards, or not even your standard? I don't even want to say that because we shouldn't have to compromise on standards. But so if you meet a man that's less wealthy, he can provide for himself and for you, maybe not at the level in which you're used to, but he has stability for himself and possibly for you and a future family, whatever. He can have everything going for him in terms of, you know, stability, in terms of he's a good man. Right. But because he's not as wealthy as you want him to be, like, that's a deal breaker.
But and then I think that's them living a certain lifestyle, like, and keeping up with that lifestyle in order to keep up with the next Atlanta hot girl that's in town. Like they have to be with a man that can complement that, because if not, then their social status continues, well, it'll drop. And to me, it's like it's kind of like all about that social status. Like, okay, if I'm not with a wealthy man, and if I'm the one that's providing, and if I'm the one that's getting this quote unquote money, which most of them, a lot of them don't really do much. They just are housewives, whatever the case is.
Right.
If I'm the only one in the relationship that's doing that, then it's going to drop my social status in town. And I think that above all, that is what kind of keeps that motivation of, okay, listen, if you don't have as much money as I need you to have, then we can't work. It's not even, to me, it's for some of them, it might be about love and about relationships and all that. But I think overall, the consensus for them, from what I gather from it, is about social status. They have to be popular. They have to be that girl above anybody else, any of the other ones. Because if you think about it, it's like it's always, and to me, you'll see it more as the show goes on. It's always like it's like little subtle competitions, but between the girls. It's like, like whether it be with houses or with clothes or whatever, anything like that, there's always some type of competition. So it's like, if you have a man that's not gonna add value to that, then it's like, I'm not gonna have to. We gonna have to rethink this. Like, so. Right. Sheree ain't trying to go with nobody that's working at Payless, because that's not gonna help her social status. Like, she's already divorced, so she needs somebody that's gonna be even better than, I forget his name, even better than her ex-husband, or the same level as her ex-husband, or better, or else it ain't gonna work. Exactly. So that's how I see it. It's all about like keeping up with the Joneses for them.
Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of like you sit back and you watch, because another thing that I gather, and I don't know the level of like their education or what they were doing before, but a lot of them have, gotten with these men before they had like contracts.
Right.
So you were with somebody that at a point didn't have much.
That's true.
And then the other thing I gather is the fact that a lot of these ladies are now successful because of the money that their men had.
Mm-hmm.
So like Lisa, she's not in this season, but from season 1 and 2, her man was in the NFL. She said it straight out, like he was making over $3 million a year. I'm not sure what Lisa was doing before that, but I'm gonna bet my little bit of money that she couldn't fund all of these businesses and things she was doing if her man didn't have that that NFL contract.
Exactly.
So in my mind, I'm just like, y'all got a lot of nerve.
I'm telling you, it's you would think that they came from money always, and that's not the case. But the only one that I could say like really grind, was a grinder from jump is Candy, because Candy started as in a girl group. She knows she's been through the evolution of hard work, and she earned her money. Like, I'm not saying that they didn't or they don't. Like, being a wife is no easy job, especially for someone who's in the social status and all that stuff, and in the NFL and stuff like that. But Candy worked her behind off to get to where she is. And it's like, so she's really one of the only women on that show that I could say, okay, she knows what it's like to come from money. But like you said, they have to, some of them have to know, like, y'all wasn't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Like, so you guys know what it means to not come from money. So it's like, but once you get a taste of that lifestyle, and hey, I don't know, I think about it too. I'm like, how would I react? Like, would I turn bougie? Like,
I don't, you really don't know.
You don't know. Like, I don't know how I would be. Like, would I be the same way and be like, once you go to that type of lifestyle where you're getting everything that you want, that your heart could never even thought of having before, can you really go back to anything less than that? And I think that's where these women are. You know what I'm saying? Because what was Nene? I'm not trying to down her. Nene's not one of my favorite characters, not one of my favorite people on the show, but she makes for good TV. But what was she doing before Greg? Greg was the one that
she was come up. All of their husbands that I know so far was their come up. Ain't nothing wrong with it.
No,
ain't nothing wrong with it. If you with somebody and you met a man who fell in love with you who was wealthy, great. If you started with your man and both of y'all ain't have nothing and he made it big, great, because you goddamn right. If my husband gets a record contract and he makes millions, those is my millions too.
That's true. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? That especially if I've been holding you down when your ass was broke.
Right.
But my thing is that, like you said, like a lot of their husbands were their come up. So now, because from what I see, especially with Sheree, like her ex-husband, who was clearly wealthy, doesn't even bother with their children.
With the kids, yeah, that's horrible.
And she made a comment like, he would come home and if he wasn't talking to me, he wouldn't be talking to the kids and all this stuff. So I'm like, so I say all that to say, like, wow. So the question is, do we kind of like shift the standards a little bit and compromise? How much do we compromise in order to find someone who will give you other important things like love, like care, like treating your kids right, and and it's just really crazy because you really think about it. You really think about what these women are thinking, and it's kind of like Kim. She got her, let's just be real, he's a sugar daddy. And without Big Papa is what they call him on the show.
Yeah.
I don't think Kim would be able to fund her lifestyle.
Not at all.
This is the sad part. So where we come in with a more serious topic is you say, all right, that's all fun and games and the show is entertaining. But as you watch the show unfold and you see that she knows that she is not being put first. Mm-hmm. She knows that this is a man who has a wife that lives somewhere else who still hasn't made an effort to get divorced. So basically, she knows she's not being priority in his life and that he's not putting her first in the places where it matters. Mm-hmm. And she broke up with him. She took him back. She broke up with him. She took him back. You wouldn't even get to see if there's somebody else out there who would love you and know your worth and treat you like the queen you deserve to be treated as. Because you know that without Big Papa, your house is not going to get paid or your car note's not going to get paid. So you're literally holding slave and prisoner to a man because of his money.
Yeah.
That's no joke. And I hate to say, I don't sit here and say, that would never be me or this or that, because you don't never know what kind of situation you're going to be in. You are a woman who watches with, a certain morale, a certain value. And you say, damn, like that gotta be, that's sad, because that shows how much they, particularly with her, like some women don't choose not to work on themselves.
Exactly.
And let's not talk about the example it's setting for your child.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a whole other situation there for sure. And it's like specifically for Kim's case, where she's not married to this man and anything of that nature. Like he has a whole nother, like you said, a whole nother wife on the side. She's on the side, he got a whole wife. You're depending on someone who is not yours and who could literally pull the plug at any time and say, I'm done with you.
Yes.
So it's like, where, like you said, where's the morale? Where is the, where is your self-respect at the end of the day? To say to yourself, no, like this can't work because I'm not, like you said, she's not being put first. Like, so at the end of the day, I'm going to have to part ways with you, because just because you're funding my lifestyle doesn't mean that you have, that you can do whatever you want. Because at the end of the day, it seems as though he has full control over whatever she wants to do, how she moves.
That's a great point.
And you know what I'm saying? So like in my mind, it's like you can't allow someone, especially if they're not doing you any kind of service, to have that much control over you just because they're giving you a few dollars, and more than a few dollars. They're giving you this lavish lifestyle. Like, that's ridiculous to me. So I think about it in that way too. It's just like, where's your self-respect? And like what dollar amount will be the breaking point for you to say like, nah, like this isn't gonna work. I need something that's mine, that I don't have to share with anybody else, regardless of however much money I'm getting. That's not important. I need a man that's going to be for me. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but she does. She transitions. So I'll just say that because I don't want to spoil it for you. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, she gets a little better with like, finding herself and finding her self-worth and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But in the beginning, it's like, Kim. Yeah. But then you'll see something else too happen with her new relationship. You'll see how you'll see. I don't want to spoil it, but I can't wait to get
that'll be the part 2 to this video.
So I just, like the self-respect just was not there. But to each his own. But I don't know. For me, I'm too much of an emotional person to only, even if, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't just live off of money. Like, money ain't gonna soothe or feed my emotions and my heart. Like, that's not going to be the case. Mm-hmm. So but like I said, that socialite status with the women in Atlanta, like they have to be top notch. They have to be above the next woman. And I think that trumps any kind of emotions that play into being in a relationship with someone that they love or that loves them or that respects them. You know what I'm saying? So I think, like I said, I don't know, I guess I'm just biased because I love Kandi. I think that she's just the bomb to me. Mm-hmm. And I love Sheree too, but I think more so Kandi because she's just, I don't know, I just love her. But she goes through something too with her husband, which you're gonna see later on.
Right now, what happened in this episode was that Kandi's daughter's father was like trying to get back. I guess told her he wants to kind of get back into his daughter's life. So yeah,
yes, and even that dynamic is. I know this is kind of like switching gears a bit, but that dynamic is interesting too because her daughter Riley is. She, I love her on the show too, but she's kind of like at a point where in her life, even though she is young at that time, she's like, I don't really want to be bothered with my father. Mm-hmm. And, it kind of put it into perspective, like, wow, like, famous kids go through this stuff too, apparently. You know what I'm saying? This isn't an economic issue. This isn't a social mm-hmm. issue. Like, this is just a dynamic that people just go through. And, I don't know if you know this now, but you'll know later on, but her father is in the music industry. So he has money. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing with Sheree's. Yeah. He's pretty, I don't know him. I didn't know him outside of the show, but they said it in the show. And same thing, like you said, with Sheree's kids. It's like her husband, her ex-husband, won't be bothered with his kids either. So it's like, you think that this is more of an issue that only affects people that aren't famous or that don't have money, but it clearly doesn't. And it was just crazy to watch. So I'm like, wow, this is interesting to see that. But yeah, I had to mention that because I was just like, wow, I couldn't.
Great point though. That is an excellent point to see that, money doesn't change the way people deal with these types of issues, and just like you said, your economic status doesn't determine the fact that you're technically a better spouse or better parent.
Exactly.
So it's really, really, really interesting. And one thing I do want to mention though is one of like the things that I noticed, and this is kind of sad to me, is the fact that at what point as a friend do you step in and say you don't deserve that, or all I see is like, Big Papa bought you this, so Big Papa bought you that, or it's kind of like there's no interject so far that I've seen. like no interjection from like friend to friend, homegirl to homegirl, sister to sister. And I know these ladies probably don't have the closest relationships with each other, but so nobody's, you know, y'all make a lot of jokes about, you know, everybody's situation, but the point is not much uplifting from the women that are around you. Which is another like really, really big issue. It's like it's a lot, but listen.
That's a great point that you raise. And it to me, it just speaks to number one, like apparently that wouldn't make for good TV if people were actually being good friends to one another. Like who knew? You know what I mean? Like that was actually a thing. But in essence, it's true. They're quick to make jokes, or they're quick to kind of like talk you know, about each other behind each other's backs, or like condone them in person, face to face, but then be like, oh, you saw that? Like, why she with him? But there isn't any real conversations. The Real Housewives ain't all that real. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hello,
like,
there you go.
Real, you know what I'm saying? It's all just a way of trying, like I said, trying to be better than the next one, and you know, trying to live a lifestyle that they probably didn't have in the beginning of their lives, and now that they do, like they want to try to hold on to that as much as possible at any cost. Like the level of respect and everything like that doesn't matter, or lack thereof, that doesn't matter, but they're going to hold on to whatever social status that they have. So exactly. But it's true though, girl. They not on that Real, child. They don't be telling it like
listen, they don't. They'll sit there and watch the other one tank or say things like how when Sheree had told Kim she was dating someone, like you're surrounding yourself with a friend that says the first thing that comes out of her mouth is, does he have money? Oh no, leave him. Like, wow, these are the people you are surrounding yourselves with. But listen, child, we shall see what happens.
Oh, I cannot wait until you. Oh, listen, that show. I've tried to watch the other Housewives, like you know, they have like New York City and all that stuff. I can't get into them, but the Atlanta is what it is. Like, oh my goodness. What? They getting popping in Atlanta.
All right. Well, listen, if anybody who is watching this video right now streams The Housewives of Atlanta, let us know. I'm on season 3 right now. Ev has finished this, but maybe we'll come back and we'll chit chat a little more about the situations that these ladies are dealing with and going through, because I think, you know, people say, oh, they're rich, you know, their problems are not the same, but you'll find that they do have a lot of the same problems, you know, and go through the same things that we do. We may not be able to handle it in the same fashion that they would, because, you know, money talks. But let us know in the comments if, you know, love or money, is there a balance? Does one matter more than the other? Do you think that, you know, you should automatically drop a man because he can't fund your lifestyle, but he has all, you know, other good qualities? Or are you down for having a sugar daddy? Let us know that too. I mean, listen, we just want to know. We just trying to understand. So
and we're not gonna judge. Listen, if you want a sugar daddy,
we're not. Exactly. To each his own. At the end of the day, everybody has to live their lives the way they want to live it, how they choose to fund their lives. But what I do want to end with is this. This goes to show, and Ev and I say this a lot, you know, and have said this a lot in our videos. You cannot let the way you perceive somebody's life based on what they show you make you feel like you're less or you have less. Because if you sit back and you watch and you say, wow, it's so good to have all of these materialistic things, and hell yeah, it's real good not to struggle. You know, listen, I'm not one of those that say, oh, you know, money doesn't make you happy. No, money can make you real happy.
Very happy, yes.
You know what I'm saying? If, you know, other things fall in line the way you need it to. But it just goes to show you that you sit here and sometimes women envy other women because they're able to do certain things and fund certain lifestyles. And you never know how somebody's life is falling apart.
It's true.
You know, in ways that can be very similar to things that we experience. So, you know, don't be fooled. You know, don't be fooled.
Like Biggie said, more money, more problems.
More money, more problems. Listen. All right, y'all. So we just came today with just a little something. And if you guys watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta, let us know. You know, I've got me into this, so now I have to finish it, but we will be back with a part 2 and we'll catch up and see what else these ladies have in store.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and to hit that notification bell. Ding.
It's official. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Ding. Sisters Bonafide.